It's time for another mock draft with the end game. We're mock drafting all preseason long. If you want to join us live every Tuesday, Thursday, click the link below in the description and you can sign up with us on Sleeper. We're going to run these mocks all off season long. But this time, it's just me and Chris. We're going to run through this and pick the first 3 rounds of a mock ourselves to give you a sense of where we think current ADP should be. So let's start with the obvious, Chris. Number 1 pick is, it's got to be Christian McCaffrey, right?
Yeah, we already have the first 2 picks in the book, McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook. I think they're the consensus 1-2. So you're on the clock at 3.
All right, some people are going to say, what about Alvin Kamara? He was a fantasy MVP last year, right? Doesn't he get any love? Maybe a number 2 pick? I don't think so. I think now that Drew Brees is officially retired, you know what? He's not the number 2 pick, and I'm not going to take him here at number 3 either. There is some argument that maybe a guy like Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry might deserve it, but you know what? I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. I know he missed all season. There's some health concerns. Look, there's health concerns with every guy. He's going to be fine. He missed time since the beginning of the season. This isn't a late season injury, so I think it's got to be Barkley here. And I could even make a case maybe for him being number 2.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's Barkley. And then that's my 1, 2, 3 right now. And then at 4, I really want to pick Zeke here, but I know that's probably higher than most people on Zeke. So I'm just going to do what most people will do, and that's pick Derrick Henry at 4. But I really do think Zeke should be at 4. But
yeah, Zeke, I don't see him going in the top 5. You know what?
No.
He makes sense. He was a top 5 pick last year for a reason. He could be that high this year. I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor, and I know some people are going to probably be too high on him. Maybe have him over guys they shouldn't, like Cook or Barkley. But I think I'm okay taking him here at the 5 spot.
Yeah, I think that's probably where we're going to see him going a lot. And now, now the big decision is going to be Zeke or Kamara. And I'm going to go with Zeke over Kamara. I'm just a little worried, with Drew Brees retiring, if it's Taysom Hill, even if it's Jameis Winston. I know Winston might be better for his value, but either way, it's not going to be as good as it was with Drew Brees. So I'm going to go Zeke at 6, who I love a lot with Dak Prescott.
Wow. And that's the big question is, how much does it really affect Kamara? How far can he actually fall? I don't think we can let him fall any farther at this point, especially because, everyone else is going running back. Of course, no surprise here. The first 6 picks are all running backs. You got to take your stud running back first. So it's got to be Alvin Kamara. Look, the floor is still crazy high with his receptions, at least we think it should be, depending on who the quarterback is. But I think we can trust him. It's still a dynamic offense.
Yeah, I think 7 is fair. And I think now it's time for the first wide receiver to be drafted, and that's Devonte Adams, who, in my opinion, if you're getting Devonte Adams with the 8th pick in a PPR league, that's a huge value. So definitely think he's got to go there.
Definitely going to be the first receiver off the board. We'll see as we speak, free agency underway. Packers are targeting all sorts of wide receivers. They come up with a big guy like Kenny Golladay. Who knows if that is going to affect Adams' ADP if he falls out of the first round. I doubt it, but it'll be interesting to see. Now, here's the next debate is, is it too soon to go Travis Kelce? You know what? I actually don't think it is. And you might think this is too early, but that's where I'm going. You need that stud tight end. You saw what a difference it makes to have him. And you know what? Nick Chubb, yeah, he's an RB1. Maybe the other guys who are left, like Josh Jacobs. But I'm sorry, the advantage you get with Kelce, and I know he's not going to be back coming around the second round if I wait. So if I were in this position, that's who I would take.
Yeah, I've seen Kelce go even in the top 5 in some of my best ball drafts. And, he was number 6 overall last year, so not crazy at all. And then I know here at 10, the debate is probably Cam Akers or Nick Chubb. And I'm going to go with Cam Akers simply because I like what he does in the passing game more than Nick Chubb. So I'm going to go with Cam Akers here with the 10th pick.
Yeah, and some people say that's risky, but you know what? You still shoot for ceiling, right? You don't want to just play it safe in the first round. You want the guy who you think could be your league winner. Well, you know what? This is the time to go with Nick Chubb because there is kind of a drop-off after that at running back. There's some nice players, but I don't think anybody else who has the potential to get you that 100-yard game on a weekly basis. And we saw the Browns offense finally take the next step forward. So this is the time to take Chubb.
Yeah. And now I think it's time for another Chief to go off the board. even though I would never draft him, I think this is where he will probably go. So Chiefs wide receiver at the end of the first round.
All right. So on the turn, you want to double up on this team, or should I go and make this pick?
Nah, go ahead. We'll just keep rotating.
All right. So now we have to start thinking a little bit about roster construction. You really don't want to worry about it at this point, but you got a receiver. Are you going to go 0 RB if you're picking a receiver in the first round? Going best player available. Well, who is the best player available? I think you still want to go with one of these running backs you think could be a league winner. Chris, I know this might be high for you, and we'll debate about this on another video, but I like DeAndre Swift. I love him this year. I love his ceiling. I think that he's a guy that you need to take ahead of, maybe other guys that don't have quite that same upside.
Yeah, I would not be taking DeAndre Swift this high, but I know a lot of people love DeAndre Swift. So, I could see it happening. And then I think, this is where we start to see some of the wide receivers go, or they should go. So I'm going to go with the team already has Nick Chubb. It's going to take Stephon Diggs here for their wide receiver 1.
Smart move there. And this is where, again, you debate between those low-end RB1s or the high-end wide receiver ones. And in this spot, since you got Cam Akers at running back, I think we can safely go with a guy I think could be, number 1 receiver, possibly in the league, DK Metcalf. I love him. Look, if I had a team to pick that I could claim as mine, it would be this team. Akers and Metcalf, probably my favorite receiver and running back combo in the league.
All right, and since Team 9 has Travis Kelce, they could go 0 RB here, but I think there's a really good running back still on the board, and that's Austin Eckler. I think he's an RB1, and so you're pairing the best tight end with, in my opinion, the top 10 running back. That's a pretty good start.
Absolutely a good start. You know what? This team here, let's make this a 0 RB team, because even though there's still some solid running backs, there's not a big difference between the guys who are left. I think we can still get a good one on the way back. And DeAndre Hopkins is still on the board. Let's go ahead and take Nuck and pair him with Devonte Adams. That's a really good start.
Yeah, that's a great 0 RB start. And, I feel like this guy's been a little undervalued. We already have, 5 wide receivers off the board. This guy was a consensus number 1 last year. And what the heck? This team already has Alvin Kamara. Let's give him Michael Thomas. Let's give him that Saints stack. Maybe they can draft Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston in the later rounds.
And look, this Saints offense might be undervalued going into next season. Think that without Breeze, it'll fall apart. I don't think it will. We've seen how they performed when other quarterbacks had to step in. Okay, so now it's time to go running back again here. And I think Josh Jacobs is still worth this early of a pick. I know some questions about him. He didn't look as explosive last year, but he did have some injuries slowing him down. The Raiders are really going on all in, try to win, maybe add some more players on offense. So I'm going with Jacobs. He's still a bell cow, one of the few true bell cow backs.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with another running back here. A guy who I feel is overvalued most of the time, but at this spot I think is a great value. And that's Aaron Jones, who we know is coming back to the Packers. So we know his role is safe from what we saw last year, and I think getting him here is a great value.
Yeah, and so you won't see A.J. Dillon in the first 3 rounds of any mocks anymore, thankfully. Not that he ever was in any of ours. But, still several running backs, quality running backs left. I think right now we can't pass up James Robinson anymore. Look, I'm a little bit down on him compared to some others. I think that they are going to find someone to complement him with, but he's still going to be the lead back there and probably the main pass catcher out of the backfield. So I think that's still a pretty good pick.
Yeah, and they did sign Carlos Hyde, which is not a huge threat to his value just yet. So things looking a little better for him. And then this team here that started with Saquon, I think they should be grabbing a wide receiver. And I'm going to have them grab Justin Jefferson, who I think is a great value at this point of the draft. So good start there with Saquon and Justin Jefferson, in my opinion.
Very nice. Tremendous upside there. All right, so now we get to the teams that have their stud running backs. Not that there aren't several, but with Alvin Cook, I think we'll pair him with a nice, solid player like J.K. Dobbins. Look, it's arguable whether he's a second-round value. I think he is. I think he's just going to be even more involved now. Mark Ingram is officially gone. And so I really like Dobbins. No, he's not going to be necessarily that guy who wins you weeks by himself. But sometimes as an RB2, you just want that set and forget it.
Yeah. All right. So team 1 has the best player and the best running back. They can't get the best tight end, but I think they can get the second best tight end here. And that's George Kittle. I think pairing George Kittle with Christian McCaffrey, I think if you had that in your draft, you'd be feeling very good.
All right, yeah, no argument against another top tight end there in Kittle. He might go a little bit under the radar, if anything, in some leagues. Probably not in any of the leagues that you guys are in because got a bunch of savvy drafters here. But you know what? It's easy to forget how dominant he can be because, well, he didn't play much at all last year. All right, now this team has a tight end and a running back. We're going to go running back again. And since we have Christian McCaffrey locked in at running back, let's take a chance on Joe Mixon here. A lot of divisiveness about Mixon's value, but you know what? He still could be one of the few guys that has well over 50% of the market share of carries for his team.
Yeah, like Joe Mixon a lot in round 3. I think that's great value. And now this team here, team 2, has 2 running backs. So it's time for them to get a wide receiver, and they're going to get A.J. Brown, who I feel, is an absolute stud every single week. So great start there for team 2.
Definitely a great start. All right, this team went wide receiver last time. Let's go ahead and give him Miles Sanders. Kind of again to the risky portion of the RB2s, but we still know what he can do on any given play.
Yeah, and there's some people who still think Miles Sanders is an RB1, and maybe he will be, but we'll see. And now, again, team 4 has 2 running backs, so let's give them a wide receiver, another wide receiver who is just every week top 10 beast, who doesn't really get that kind of recognition, but that's Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley, it's interesting now. He's officially supplanted Julio Jones in draft rankings. Julio's still on the board. Who would have thought that? All right, and time for another receiver here for this team. Not that 3 running back is just an absolute no-go, but still, there's a lot of good receivers left on the board. You know what? Let's take a chance here, and let's go with Allen Robinson, depending on who is quarterback in Chicago. Is he still in Chicago? I don't know, but whenever he plays, he's going to be a stud.
All right, another team here. Team 3 went running backs. Let's give them a wide receiver. Let's give them another undervalued wide receiver 1, and that's Keenan Allen.
Definitely nice to have that safe floor each and every week. All right, let's go running back again. I see that Antonio Gibson is still on the board. A lot of people high on him. We'll see what this Washington offense looks like next year. But Gibson, for the middle of the 3rd round, is pretty good value.
Yeah, that's tremendous value, honestly. And are we going 0 RB with team 8, or do we give him a running back? Let's give him a running back.
You're in charge now.
What's that?
So you're in charge now.
Well, let's see. Let's give him a running back. Let's give him a guy who's probably going to go around this spot, and that's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who, last year was a consensus 1st rounder. Now he's all the way down to a 3rd round value, which I think is pretty good for him. Definitely
good value there. All right, and this team, I think you have to look at this point. They have a tight end and a running back, only 1 running back, but no receivers. You don't want to force a position, but just looking at the values, you're either going to trust one of those younger running backs, a guy who's in a timeshare, or you get a stud receiver. I think I'm going to lean receiver, and let's go with Mike Evans.
All right, that works. And then we're going to go another receiver here with the team in position 10. They could really go any direction, but like you said, we're getting to the point where the running backs, their roles aren't set in stone. So let's go with another receiver here that I really like from my football team, Terry McLaurin.
Scary Terry. Can't last too long in any drafts. I think it's time to pull the trigger here on a rookie running back. Let's do it. We don't know where he's going to play, but we know he's probably going to be the top rookie running back taken, and running backs will be at a premium. Najee Harris, gone.
All right. And then with the last pick here, this team can go either way. So they have a ton of upside in both positions, really. little risky with the, in my opinion, with that RB1, but that's debatable. So let's give him a little bit of a safer floor at running back, and let's go with Chris Carson, who I think is going to land in a really good spot in free agency.
That's right. Free agency just kicking off. We did talk about our predictions where we think some of these guys will land, including Chris Carson. So if you can catch that video and see if you agree, disagree, and see what happens. All of that is just starting to shake out this week. So that's our All Us mock, picking each and every spot. Don't you wish you could do that in a draft? Well, if you want to join us and claim your own spot, pick from wherever you like. The more practice you get, just like with anything, the better you get. Draft with us all preseason long, every Tuesday and Thursday. Again, go down to the description below and check the links. We're going to be drafting live on Sleeper and live streaming. You can even join us on the air. So go ahead and sign up now. There's nothing to wait for. Join us and get into the game. All right. Thanks for watching.